back to Studio Life. So excited. I have Kate Hughes here today, makeup artist extraordinaire, celebrity makeup artist and hairstylist, has worked with Victoria Beckham, Elton John, and my favourite, Daniel Craig. Today, we are going to talk about makeup, all the pro tips, all the quick fixes, and everything to do with confidence in midlife.
Welcome. No quick fixes here. There's no quick fixes. It's all about consistency. Hello.
Hello. So good to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I always say makeup is the confidence. It can be the confidence that you wear on your face. So what does confidence mean to you? And when you're working with clients, how does makeup fit into that confidence story?
It's a great question. I mean, to be able to help someone feel good in their own skin, I feel is a real humbling experience.
Yeah, and the thing that I love about makeup as a medium, it's so powerful
and it
to
washes
transform. Off. It washes off. That's a caveat though, it washes off. But it's so powerful, it's empowering, and it can transform. But do you find, especially women in midlife, that they are overwhelmed, they don't know how to use makeup, how to apply it, they might be doing the same routine as they did in their 40s and 50s as they were doing in their 20s? And do you think they've sort of fallen out of love of makeup? Or
so for example,
don't see the relevance, don't need it in their lives?
For example, if I'm doing a wedding, I used to be the same age as the bride. Now I'm the age of like the mum and the grandma. Or the grandma. I walk into the room and we've done the trial, the bride's really happy, she knows what she's going to get. And the mum or the grandma, they're really, really cautious. And I do the bride, obviously. I do the grandma and the mum, mother of the bride, grandma of the bride. And they're just, you can feel their energy. They just don't really want you to touch them because they're not feeling great. You know, they're older, there's all these young things running around, all getting ready for the wedding. And once I've done their makeup, I want to cry a lot of the time because they feel fantastic and they want to be your best friend. And it's so lovely because they feel seen again. And I think that sort of feeling invisible as you get into midlife, I think makeup can really help with that and change everything.
And I think about that a lot because it's a big part of Studio 10. Studio 10 is all about celebrating your age, wearing it loudly, wearing it proudly, being seen, being heard. We have a voice. And I was like, well, where does that come from? Why do we wake up in our 40s and beyond and feel invisible? And then I start to think about the beauty industry. And actually, I think the beauty industry has a lot to answer for. Anti-aging, anti-wrinkle, 10 years younger, 20 years younger. And our definition of beauty is aligned to youth. So
100%.
And it's so damaging to female, to all of our confidence levels. And I think that's where the invisibility comes from.
I think it has a part to play. I think things are changing massively and quite fast actually. I think that the midlife platform has completely changed, especially in the last 5 years. Also, I think it's people's attitudes. I don't think it's just the beauty industry. I think it's young people's attitudes. You know, oh my God, I'm so scared of the menopause because everyone keeps banging on about it. I think that's got a little bit to play.
But that, I'm so scared of the menopause, does that come, because 5 years ago nobody's talked about menopause. Now we're talking, which is great, it needs to be on the map.
I think it needs to be talking about it.
But now there's so much around it, and as you said, there's so much negativity around it. So is that now in turn creating a fear in younger women?
I have a lot of younger women, I've got a lot of younger women that are friends. But again, it's all tiny micro situations that have parts to play in it. I don't think it's one big thing. I don't think it's menopause only. I don't think it's the beauty industry only. I think it's lots of different little things. And I think now midlife women have got a really strong voice and we're shouting.
Yeah,
and we're climbing
and
it's changing.
It's definitely changing, and there's more of us, you, me, there's lots of amazing sort of pro-aged creators, and so many more of us are having that conversation, we're banging the drum.
Yeah.
But I still think we've got a long way to go because most women I meet feel less confident than more confident. At one level, it's a slight contradiction because, and certainly I felt this as I got older, there's this confidence boost in what you see is what you get. I actually don't care what people think of me. Some people might like me, some people won't. Whereas, you know, in my early 20s, even into my 30s, I was so focused on what people thought of me and would they think I was a nice person, and am I successful? I was almost defined by what, you know, people's opinions of me, and I've definitely lost that.
100.
But at
exactly
the same time,
exactly
and that's a lot of women.
Yeah.
Like, I hear a lot of women say, what you see is what you're going to get. So that's a big confidence spike. But at the same time, other areas in your confidence and self-worth and value drops through the floor, because, you know, they don't feel as attractive, they don't feel relevant or as valuable in society, or as much confidence in living their best life. And then coupled with doors are closing, or I'm too old, or I couldn't do that. It's so negative, shutting it down, those self-beliefs. So I do think it's changing. I still think we've got a long way to go. But in terms of the work that you do you feel, once you've given women an understanding of makeup, that it's not only a confidence boost, but it fundamentally makes a positive change to their life, and it's sustainable?
It's about confidence mostly, and it's about being seen, and it's about having the confidence to experiment and try new things, and to do it for us in our way, for our time. That's so important. And I just think that a good quality product is so important, but it's also about application. Because I really do believe that application is very simple, but you've got to do it differently. You can't be doing what you did in your 20s. You know, our faces have changed, our skin has changed, our features have changed. But
Our
I still
needs are
think
different as
yeah,
well. The
of
structure
course.
of our face is different.
Definitely,
We've got thinning
skincare, the
brows,
lot, all of
everything,
it.
yeah.
And I just think it's about sort of doing it in a different way, and doing it with vigour, and keeping going, you know.
But it's interesting, like, doing it in a different way, but I think part of it is doing it.
Yeah.
I actually meet a lot of women who don't do their makeup. I'll only do my makeup if I go out, or no, I don't have time to do my makeup. Actually, it doesn't really matter, I don't need to do my makeup. And I kind of feel so much of it is around self-care. It's like, do it for you, do it for yourself. And I didn't coin this phrase, because you're worth it. I just think is something that women in midlife need to say to themselves, almost as an affirmation every single day, because I'm worth it. I'm worth it, I matter, I'm beautiful. And I wonder whether that's why women lose confidence, because they don't care as much. They haven't got that self-care.
I had a lady on our last course, and she used to have really bad eczema when she was younger. So she couldn't put any makeup on her skin. And she thought, now she's in midlife, that it's going to be the same. So we slowly sort of added makeup into her daily routine.
Oh.
And she hasn't got that problem anymore. This is the thing. So it can go one way, where you had younger skin and fresher, younger features, if you like.
Yeah.
And now that's all changed. But it can go the other way, where she thought she couldn't wear makeup. And now, because her skin's matured, she now can. And she started with nothing.
Really?
And slowly but surely, every product she bought, I was like, if it doesn't work on you, I'll buy it off you. She's using all of it, and she feels so much more confident. It's a really great tool to make you feel fantastic. And I think, do you know what? You've got thin lips, wear the red lipstick. If you want to wear bright green eyeshadow, wear it. I'm very lucky that the women in my life, all around me, are very strong. So I'm just sort of flowing on that crest of a wave with that strength. That strength comes from confidence.
Yeah, it does. And actually, regardless of whether you're 18 or 80, you get ready to go out. You've done your hair, you've done your makeup, you might have some heels on, you might have a new dress on. You get ready, you put your jewellery on, and you look in the mirror, and you know that feeling, you look $1 million, but that feeling where you're like, oh, I've got this, you're still the person you were 2 hours ago.
Totally, yeah.
And there's all this research now that shows that if you look good on the outside, you feel good on the inside. I mean, true beauty, I think, radiates from the inside out. And a big part of that, the beauty isn't that Instagram, glossy magazine, stereotypical view of beauty. Confidence exudes, and it's attractive, and it's so beautiful. And what makes me sad is when I meet women through midlife who have lost that confidence because they are maturing, because they're aging, and then all the negative rhetoric that comes around that, over the hill, old, closing doors. I can't do that because X, or I'm too old. And I almost want to say, yes, you can. It's a bit like you saying, bold. If you want to wear red, own it, do whatever you want to do.
And in your 80s, start a business if you want to start a business.
Define you. Well, there's
you can do anything.
Do you know what? I totally agree with you. You can do anything if you put your mind to it.
And you're consistent and you work hard.
That phrase, it's better to try and fail.
I think
than
if you
not
know what
try
you
at
want
all.
at the end of something and then you go for it, I think you will succeed. If you've got a really strong vision of what is at the end. Knowing that end goal and wanting something quite badly, I think you will get it and you will get there. But it's not going to be easy. And there's going to be lots of bumps in the road, and it's going to take hard work, determination and consistency.
I think that's the key, is the understanding that you've got your end goal. Life's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
There's,
But
bumps.
there's got to be a why.
Yeah.
I think if there's not a why, it's really difficult to reach a certain, that goal. Yeah.
So do you think, because we're talking quite a bit about sort of goals more in a professional sense, but what's your view on makeup is more than just a daily routine, and it's more part of your self-care routine?
I would say it's part of your armour. I
Like
feel
that.
that makeup is part of your armour, even if you just do a bit of mascara, even if you just do a little bit of lip gloss. I'm not putting makeup on for you or him or her or for anyone. I'm putting it on for myself. It's funny because an ex-boyfriend, I remember him saying to me, "Why do you keep putting makeup on? You don't have to do that for me." And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm not doing it for you.
Okay, honey, we need to have a little chat. He couldn't get his head around that we do it for ourselves. He was a man that thought we do it for them. And I showed him an email from a bride, how I made her feel. And he was like, now I get it. How I made that woman feel on her special day. People don't remember what you say, but they remember how you made them feel.
Yeah.
Of course it's about how you look. But more importantly, it's about how you feel.
Okay, so I want to unpick this a little bit because I find it quite interesting. Do you think that most women care about their looks in context of how they are seen by other people? Because you do it for you, because you want to look good for you. But I think most women do it to feel good and validated by other people. And then when I think about women in terms of beauty, if you go back thousands and thousands of years back to evolutionary times, so much of our currency and value is on our beauty. We are there to attract, to be attractive and to attract a mate. So that's very much about outward facing
I would
beauty.
say 20s, 30s, up to 40s, maybe, yes, that way. But now I'm older, my friends are older, my clients are older, I feel it flips. Then you do it for yourself. I think when you're a lot younger, 100%. I wouldn't have been able to make videos and put them out to the world in my 20s or 30s. There's no way on this earth. The comparison would have killed me. But I can do it now, and I could do it in my 40s. I feel as you get older, it flips. And I see that a lot around me. Even sort of women that don't wear a lot of makeup, I think if they decide they want to, they're doing it for themselves, they're not doing it for anyone else.
Yeah.
I really feel that.
Yeah.
They're giving it a go as well. They're trying. Even if they don't feel great, they're giving it a go, and that's everything.
They're giving it a go, they're stepping out of a comfort
Yeah.
zone, they're going for it, and I
Yeah.
think that's really positive. Okay, I want to talk tips.
I can do that.
Because you are the master. 3 midlife hacks. Tips that you would give for someone who might wear makeup, might not wear makeup. Where would you start?
It's really hard because there's millions. The 3 that come to mind first is you've got to up your skincare. Because the cell turnover has slowed down massively, so you've got to exfoliate. Exfoliation is key to get good skin. If your skin's not good, the makeup's not going to look good, no matter how hard you try. So exfoliation,
Weekly exfoliating?
twice a
or
week
twice
maybe, and massive amounts of hydration.
Yeah.
Drinking water, face oil, creams. Do as much as you can within your budget, number 1. Number 2, you need a really good magnifying mirror.
You do, because I
do.
can't see
And one-
anything.
Well, it needs to be one that doesn't make you feel giddy or sick, and
Yeah,
you need
yeah.
good light. It's really good if you can sit opposite natural daylight, or you've got really good light. So I think lighting and a magnifying mirror, skincare, and then have confidence putting it on.
Yeah, have confidence putting
Get it on. If it looks crap, change it and
Yeah.
keep going until it looks good. You need to practice. It is not going to happen straight away. You need to practice. You need to do it every day, and then you need to modify it slightly, and then you're going to get into it and really enjoy it because it's going to start to work.
So do you think it's quite technical, or do you think
No.
once you've got those tricks, it's actually quite easy
I did
to
a makeup lesson 1-to-1, and she was really sheepish when I walked in, and she showed me all her makeup, and I was like, okay, we're going to go through this. I'm going to get quite hardcore now, so if you can't handle it, just tell me to stop. Because I'm
You
like,
have a
throw
lot
that
in
away.
her makeup
Everybody
bag.
has a lot of highlighters. As you know, we don't need those. But anyway, we're chatting away. I'm doing half of a face, she's doing the other half. I love to teach one-on-one. All of a sudden, she looked at me, right in the eyes like this, and she said, "It's not rocket science, is it?" And I said, "No, it's not." I said, "It's not." And that's the key. It's not rocket science, but you have to learn the basics, and then you just have to
It's a
practice.
bit like cooking, isn't it? Cooking isn't
Really?
isn't rocket science. But you just need
Practice.
some really good recipes, and you need to practice.
Yeah.
If a lady wasn't using makeup and was happy to use one product, what would be that
Desert
number
Island
one?
one.
Desert Island, because I've got my thoughts on this. What do you think the most important thing is if you're only going to use one product?
Blusher.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I'd want some colour in my cheeks.
So interestingly, I love blusher, as you know, because I think it's a real complexion boost. But I would say some form of coverage, because you can use the blusher, it will give you that healthy blusher colour. But if you've got really dark circles, pigmentation, sort of feel it's like even the skin tone a little bit, and especially this area,
But then you're going to
brighten.
look a little bit all one colour. People say to me, I've got these dark circles that I can't cover, and I'm like, well, make something else stronger so the eye looks at something stronger and it doesn't
Yeah.
look at that thing. So
Yeah,
I
so
feel
you think
that,
blush does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so interesting.
I just think for me, I want a healthy flush.
Yeah. So my number
Also,
two is
my
blush.
hair's the same colour as my skin. As I've got older, even though I do colour my hair, it's still very light. My skin's got really light because the hair gets lighter, the skin gets lighter.
Yeah.
So I want to put colour in.
Yeah. Colour's my number two. But
Okay.
for me, it's, and looking at your skin.
Next, I'd
you've
go
got-
define. Definition.
You've got a really good, even skin tone.
Work really hard at it.
Yeah, you really do.
But I really enjoy skincare. I mean, my self-care at home, I love to get in the bath, do a body scrub, put a hair mask on, put a face mask on. I really enjoy taking care of myself in that way as well.
But that's quite interesting because we love that whole spa treatments, going to a spa. That is part of the sort of self-care routine, isn't it? And there's no reason why you can't take that into your home.
And people say, I haven't got time. Prioritise it.
Yeah, because it's
I think-
important, isn't it?
Totally.
So sort of that ritual, that routine, bath, it's hair mask. How long is that? And do you do it weekly?
It can
Do
be
you
as
just-
quick. It can be as quick as half an hour. It can take half a day,
Yeah.
depending.
So I don't do that. I don't do
I
that,
love
and
it.
I don't do it at all, because I think it's going to take too long, and I don't have an hour or an hour and a
Prioritise.
half. But actually,
Self-care.
like you said,
If you prioritise that self-care, I can get so much more done because my mental attitude changes, and I can get more work done. That week coming forward is going to be so productive. If I carry on 7 days and keep working, which I sometimes do because I could just get
Yeah.
focused in, the productivity lessens.
so your day out is set every week, and it recharges you, gets you sets you up
mentally and physically.
mentally, emotionally, psychologically
And physically.
the week ahead.
Yeah.
I don't do that, but every day I do little things, so I'm more sort of bite-sized self-care.
See, that doesn't work for me
It's so interesting
because that slows me down more. And I think, that's what it's about.
Finding
No wrong or right.
it's finding.
It's about finding what goes with your rhythm.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
go
yeah.
to bed sometimes at 7:30. I get
Yeah.
into the bed. I don't go to sleep, but my phone's in my kitchen on silent. I go into the bedroom. There's no TV in there. There's no phones allowed in my bedroom.
Yeah,
And I literally might watch something on my laptop.
yeah.
And the sun goes down. I'm really lucky. I've got a penthouse where the sun goes down in my bedroom.
Oh,
It's
amazing.
beautiful. Going in there and switching off is so important. So then I go to sleep early. I wake up at 5 sometimes, and I'll get up and start working at 5 because that's when my rhythm is strong.
I've
So,
heard, I've read so
you've
much
got to find
stuff
just
about
your
different
circadian rhythm.
rhythms,
Yeah.
and some people are night owls, some people are early morning.
There's
but I
nothing
do
wrong or right.
think I'm a night owl. It's then much harder to switch off. And one
Yeah.
of the things I found, as I've got older, is my sleep isn't as good as it was, but my need for really good quality sleep is even more important. So that night owl doesn't actually serve me because it's then very, very hard to switch off. So I've now started to switch it. So while we all have our own rhythms, I think you can change that
My skin's so much better as well if I go to sleep early.
Absolutely.
Everything's better. It really is. Oh, back in the day, if you told me you need to do the same thing every day, I'd say no one. I love the variety of doing something different every day. If you tell me I've got to get up at the same time every day, I'm a bit of a rebel. I'm going to go against the grain. Now, I absolutely love it. I love being consistent and I love that routine. I can bust out now and again, no problem. But I love the consistency and the routine because I know it's what wins the race.
So do you think in midlife it's good to have routine and have more of a routine, and by having that routine then you can put some proper committed time for yourself within that? I'm so busy all of the time, caring, looking after, chasing, that I find it very, very hard to carve out that time and that quality time for me.
I don't think routine comes into that. I think it's about prioritising yourself. And by prioritising yourself, that's carving out the time for you to do some self-care. So I think it's making yourself a priority. But I think a lot of women give to everybody else and they don't know how to give to themselves because that's what they've always done. They're providers, you know.
Yeah.
Now your children are grown up. And now everybody around you doesn't need as much of your care in that respect, then it's now time to prioritise yourself. It's not about being consistent. It's not about having a goal. It's about making you the priority. And that must come first, because then once you've made yourself the priority and you've done that self-care, then everything else will unfold. I really do believe that.
I love the quote. We build self-confidence by keeping the promises that we make with ourselves.
Amen, sister. Do you know what? I think it's really, really important that if we don't keep the promises that we make for ourselves, it's okay. I think we have to give ourselves a little bit of grace.
Be kind to ourselves.
Be kind to ourselves. But I really do believe you just got to keep trying.
Yeah.
It's like keep practicing your makeup. You've got to keep trying. You've got to get up and you've got to try again. And one day it will work, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Even sort of dating in midlife. Even, you know, starting a new career in midlife, exercising in midlife, starting to eat healthier in midlife. It's never too late. It's never too late. And you've just got to try. And if it doesn't work, no problem. Just keep freaking trying.
It's never ever too late.
Keep trying.
And don't let age stop you.
Never.
Because it's so easy to say, oh, I'm too old to do
Yeah,
X.
but if
You're never ever too old to do anything that you want.
I think if you tell yourself too old, you get too old.
Absolutely.
I'm 55 this year. I don't live by any societal norms. I'm not married. I haven't got children. In my head, I'm still 21. But you know what? That's okay. It's okay for you to do whatever you want. You don't have to wear sensible shoes because you're getting older. You don't have to wear a nude lip because you're in midlife. You don't have to stop growing your hair long or colouring it or not colouring it. Whatever it may be, I think we have to really be easy on ourselves and just keep going, keep trying, and know that anything is possible. It really is. And some people might say, well, that's not possible, I haven't got enough money. Okay, so you have to work a way around to make it possible. And I think that fluidity and that confidence to be able to give stuff a try is everything.
Yeah, taking that step,
Yeah.
stepping out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And
you can sidestep.
And not letting
No problem.
age define you.
Totally.
And what you said
not letting
about...
anything define you.
But it is interesting because those outdated stereotypes, or the do's and the can'ts, and what you can do and what you can't do. One of the things that I read, like quite a lot when I was in my early 40s, you can't have long hair if you're over the age of 40. And this was all around me. And honestly, I've had long hair my whole life.
And it looks fabulous on
I
you.
love it. I love my hair. I'm probably going to be 90 and I still have long hair.
I'm still going to be colouring my hair, let me tell you.
I'll probably might be, my mother was still colouring her hair at the age of 84.
Love that.
But when I was 42, had my last daughter, I got my hair cut into a bob. Not
Right.
because I sort of wanted it, because I love my hair, because I was like, oh, I'm over the age of 40, I can't have long hair. And where does that come from? Where does...
Societal norms.
Yeah.
That's the society, people around you telling you this is how you should be.
And
Well,
there
what
is
I say,
no should be.
fuck them.
Yeah, totally agree. There is no
I
should.
really think you should do whatever you want.
Okay.
Who cares? You know, nobody else is looking. Everyone's so wrapped up in how they feel and what they look like. Last little thing, I've got to tell you this. We were doing a course. I used to work for Sally Salon Services in 380 stores. I had a course, a makeup course. So I was helping hairdressers to become makeup artists. And I had this young woman that was my model on this day. Half of her face was a natural look, the other half was smoky eye, and we were all going to the pub for lunch. She said, "Oh no, can you take this off, please? You know, everyone's going to look at me." I said, "Okay, let's do an experiment." She must have thought I was a complete nutter. I said, "Let's do an experiment. We're going to go to the pub right now. We haven't got time because we've run over because I've talked too much. Surprise."
Yeah.
So we went to the pub. I said, "You tell me if anybody looks at you in the pub." So we're sitting there eating, and I'm watching her the whole time, and she's like looking around. Bless her. But she learned a big lesson that day. We got back to the wholesalers. I looked at her. I said, "Did anyone look at you and give you a funny look?" She said, "No." I said, "Well, there you go." I said, "Everybody else is too worried about themselves.
Yeah.
Just worry about you and how you feel,
And do what's right for you.
do what's right for you."
So around aging, should we grow old gracefully? Should we do this?
What is that?
And my
What is
view
that?
is no,
What is
exactly.
growing old gracefully? What?
And
Tell
it's
me what
different
that
things.
means.
But for me, because I get asked all the time,
But
obviously
what does it
having
mean? Growing
growing
gracefully.
old gracefully means growing old naturally. So you don't dye your hair. It's all that
That's
sort
what
of
I don't know what
stuff.
it's
But for me, there is no right or wrong
No,
way to
there's not.
age. You do you, and you do what's right for
Yeah.
you because of you.
Yeah.
So you dye your hair, I dye my hair. One of my best friends is 100% great,
Yeah.
and she looks
Same.
incredible.
Same.
I've got friends who do Botox. I've got friends who don't do Botox. If you want to have a facelift, have a fucking facelift.
Yeah.
There is no right or wrong way to age. But the bit I am really adamant about is with no judgment.
Totally.
And that is the thing that I see too much of is that judgment. And what I don't like seeing is, and I've seen it and I've got friends, you know, there might be creators, they're grey and they're like, "Oh, you'd look 15 years younger if you actually dyed your hair." Or, "Oh, well, you only look like that because you've had Botox." Or
Okay.
that
So
judgment
so
needs to stop.
that's their problem.
Totally agree.
There's no relevance on us at all. And I think
But it
once
impacts women though.
it does
might-
until you get your mind right to know that that's nothing to do with you.
Absolutely.
You do you. And if somebody comes at me, I just smile.
Yeah.
I'm
agreed.
not fighting. You know, if someone says to me, blah, 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 whatever they say, I'm not going up against them. I mean, I had a lot of therapy to make me strong within myself. And that for me was everything, you know.
Yeah.
But that's not for everybody. So again, it's finding what's right for you and diving in what's
Yeah.
right for you.
Yeah, and that's the key. The final question.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. What piece of advice or what would you say to your 21-year-old self, knowing what you know now?
Everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. I remember saying to my therapist once, and this comes on from that, who's now a very good friend of mine actually. We send kisses. I don't think you're meant to do that, but we do. She said to me, and I said to her, "I'm really worried about being homeless." And she looked at me and she went, "Have you ever been homeless?" I said, "No." She said, "So what the hell do you think you're going to be homeless now or in the future? You work harder than anybody else I know." So I'd say to her, everything is going to be okay.
I love that. Words of wisdom for all of us. It is going to be okay. One day at a time, everythld going to be
And if it goes wrong,
you're
going
going
to
to
go right again. When have we ever had things in our life as 50-year-old women, 50-year-old-ish women, when have we had things go wrong that haven't come right in the end? Really?
Yeah, and actually, even if they don't come right in the end,
There's something better waiting.
there is,
or something
you
different.
get through it.
Yeah.
You come out the other side. And there's pain, there's sadness, there's loss, there might be heartbreak, there's disappointment, but there is always another day.
So life is always going to be ups and downs.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah. And you've got to ride that roller coaster, because to go up, you've got to come down, and to be down, you've got to come up. You've got to flow. It's really hard to flow and let go, because we all hold on so tight to everything. But I feel that, you know, everything is always all right. It's always all right.
Yeah, we get through it.
Yeah.
We get through and we get to the next
Even the
day.
big stuff, like deaths and stuff like that. Yeah, it's bad. And it always comes back every now and again with grief. But you get through it.
Yeah. Oh. Thank you everybody for watching, and the incredible Kate Hughes. See you next time.
Thank you for having me.